Lucie Martin, je suis présentement à une centaine de kilomètres au nord de Londres, à Oxford, la ville natale des membres de la formation Radiohead. Le groupe nous présente Amnesiac, la suite logique de Kid A, puisque les deux albums ont été créés au même moment. J'ai rencontré Tom York, très sympathique et plus jasant qu'à l'habitude dans les bureaux de Courtyard Studios, l'équipe de gérance de Radiohead.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Tom. Hi.
Tom. Elsie.
Elsie, hi. All right.
How are you?
Yeah.
Very good.
Good.
We are meeting you in the neighborhood of Oxford. Sort of
nearby.
Nearby Oxford, yes. And we're going to go have a look at your hometown a little bit later. Let's go maybe back a little bit. With Kid A, were you pleased with the response that you got
I was
for Kid A?
a bit confused.
Confused? Why?
Well, it depends where you were. In Britain, it was a bit odd.
In what sense?
The reaction was mixed in a way, in places. Well, I think we kind of asked for it, but everyone kind of thought we'd completely lost the plot. Apparently. I mean, I deliberately tried not to read the reviews, but I got the general impression of... No, I didn't actually. The only one... the only stuff I did encounter sort of by accident really was just kind of really quite nasty in this country, so it was all a bit odd.
A couple of months after Amnesiac is coming out, was it sort of billed around the same time, born around the same sort of recording session or writing session?
Yeah, it was all done at the same time. In some ways it was being done behind our backs, especially me, because I was like looking one way, and I think a lot of the material that ended up on Amnesiac was pointing the other way.
Okay.
But it was all done at the same time. And ended up being quite distinctly different, which is kind of weird, really. We were crazy anyway to finish all that material in one go. It was very hard work. Almost killed Nigel.
Really?
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, I mean, you know, you have to ask him really. But...
Yeah, I wish we could talk to him. Almost
He's having a break.
Nigel. Oh my God, is he going to work with you again?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think he's forgiven us. Just about.
Right. Now, last time, the album was sort of a complete body of work, no sort of excerpts, no singles, no videos. Did you change your mind?
Yeah.
Different approach here.
I think, I mean, me and Johnny especially kind of regretted the fact that we didn't have singles on Kid A, because to us there was lots of singles, really. But I think we were getting a bit precious about it, because it's like, oh no, you can't extract one particular thing because it's not representative for the rest of the album, which is true.
Who's in a bunker? Who's in a bunker? Women and children first, and the children first, and the children are laughing till.
At what point do you realize when the album is out and you're like, I should have done it the other way, or?
When it disappears again.
Oh yeah, you're like, oh no. It's not in the charts anymore.
Shit! And it was like, I don't know, you know, we kind of just, it's a shame, it was a shame, because it disappeared and we worked really bloody hard on it.
But that doesn't mean it doesn't make an impact.
Oh no, not at all, no. And it's not like it's going to disappear, really. But, it was sort of, it felt weird to not hear anything on the radio, which is one of those things, really.
I say it's coming, let me hear both sides, let me hear both sides, let me hear both. I say it's coming, throw him on that fire, throw him on that fire, throw him on the way.
It just feels better to try and give the songs a chance, more of a chance. I mean, in it, you know, you can work in two ways. You can sort of like do your stuff, and when it's finished, you put it out, and you don't care about it. You don't promote it, and you don't talk about it, and whatever. And that's, in a way, I would be happy to do that if it wasn't for the fact that you work so hard on something, and it means so much to you. And if it doesn't get across to people, it's kind of a bit of a shame. I find it a bit, it's funny, I find it a bit of a shame. You know, I guess we had to find it out on Kid A, really. Or maybe we won't release singles in the future for something, I'm not sure. Sort of, that's where we were at that point, you know.
Well, now you know.
I guess, yeah.
Hi, are you camera shy? Oh, come on. We came all the way from Canada. Alors, t'es un fan de Radiohead?
Un gros fan, oui. Ça fait 3 ans que... Ah oui, que je suis le groupe.
Not particularly, I was about 95.
Okay, you were a fan. So in their more sort of rock period.
Yeah, kind of poppy, happy, optimistic.
I've been listening to their music since about 92, 93. The first album I bought was Pablo Honey.
Oh, you like the recent stuff? Tell us why.
They've got a bit more dancey, I think. Oh, yeah. It's not so, because I'm not so into guitar music, and so it's more my kind of thing.
Well, I mean, you could argue it's a little bit pretentious, really, couldn't you? Well, you could say that. I mean, I think a lot of the original fans remember things like Creep, don't they, going back a few years.
The music that they do, the very experimental music, is very good. The way that they just try and sing standards in music.
Their music's got a little bit too obscure recently, but I used to like their comment on the sort of lifestyle that we're leading, and more recently about the state of the world. And now, you know, I'm not sure what direction they're taking, so...
I just really sort of like the lyrics and just the whole mood of the thing. It's quite evocative.
I do think it's a lot more difficult to get into, but it's a lot more profound, it's a lot more interesting, their views on the music scene at the moment. It's a nice refreshing change to the sort of the cliched boy bands that we've got at the moment.
Or are you conscious while you're creating that if you're creating something quite abstract and ambiguous, that your audience, it is important for you that your audience be able to tune into?
It's not an issue. It's not an issue when we're recording. It's one of those things, like, if you choose to be in a band, you know, and you choose to work with a producer, then it's about where you all meet. It's about all, you know, so it's very difficult to, you know, you're not, in a way you already have your audience, you know what I mean? And so it's not an issue about how, you know, it's not an issue when you're recording, worrying about where it's going to end up and how people will feel about it, obviously. It's basically, you know, if you, like, are proud of what you've done, you kind of want people to understand, you know, and it's not like giving them a long lecture or, you know, well, this bit here is in 7/8 or, of course, there's, you know, it's shit like that. It's not about that at all. It's just about sort of, you know, as far as I'm concerned, both records are not confusing or difficult, you know, and I was really quite surprised that people said that, because it actually wasn't the intention. The intention was, you know, we've been absorbing these particular types of music, and this is where it's led us.
Everyone around, yeah. Everyone is so near.
You talked about the fact that you liked the anonymity about electronic music. Is that where you'd like to go with Radiohead then? Are we going towards?
No, I think basically the anonymity problem is you can't do it if you're going to stand in front of a mic, or if you're going to go and play live and shit. You're not anonymous.
Everyone is so
record that's just absolutely honks. But if you do enough, if you talk to enough people, then people will buy it, you know, because of the way the system works. And I think, you know, the whole electronica scene is a reaction against that, which is a brilliant, good thing. You know, the whole dance culture thing, it's not really particularly about people making the music for their personalities. And I think the rest of the music business could really do with a little less emphasis on personality, you know.
A bit more on the result.
Style over content, etc.
Are you enjoying doing interviews more?
Well, kind of my trip about it really is just to sort of trying to explain things a little bit, rather than just sort of leave it with nothing at all, like no explanation, you know. I'm actually kind of sick of hiding away as well.
Are you?
I got bored of it. I got bored of having to avoid things all the time. That in itself is hard work.
Yeah.
You know, unless I just did a Sid Barrett and went barking. No.
You wouldn't do that.
Well, I could, you know, give me enough acid.
Or the video for Pyramid Song is, once again, semi-abstract. It's not just sort of, it's similar to the video blips for Kid A, but it's got an actual sort of storyline, and it's a bit, you know, not as abstract.
Well, the funny thing about that thing is every time I see it, I see something completely different,
Really?
which is kind of alarming. But there's so many layers to it. Yeah, it's definitely something to be stared at for a long time, which is of course what you do when you watch music television, isn't it? And you just stare at it.
Just kind of.
It's not really on in the corner and you're ignoring it or anything.
Yeah.
Well, it was the same team that had done the blips. I was sending them endless rambling faxes about where the song came from. And then after a while I thought, well, this is kind of a bit daft really, because it did literally take me 5 minutes. And explaining it was actually confusing them. You know, because they had, so they had their particular thing that they wanted to do with it, you know. I was quite into the skeletons floating around, that was important to me.
Yeah.
It's pretty disturbing as well. I mean, it is based around the flood thing, really, and this, you know, what's been going on in this country.
Is there any chance of seeing the members of the band Radiohead in the video again?
Definitely.
Really? You're gonna play actor and...
Definitely we're gonna act.
Really?
Dress up.
You want to?
Yeah.
And dance routines and all that?
All that, definitely.
For the
Actually,
next
I don't know
one.
about the dance routine thing, it's just, you know, I don't think we could get that together, but, yeah. I'm always coming up with these things. I was trying to persuade them the other day it would be a good idea if we all dressed up in safari uniforms and sat, you know,
For a gig
sat in
or
a pot.
something?
No, sat in a pot and got, you know, boiled up.
How about within the band? Because you, I mean, Radiohead itself, the band went through a lot of, like, explored different types of music and different sort of styles throughout the years. Has the sort of progression been happened at the same time for everybody?
No,
in the
everybody's
band?
always pulling loads of different ways all at once.
Does that create friction?
Oh,
or
yeah,
is there
completely.
adjustment periods? Or?
Yeah, but I mean, it's just always been like that. Everybody's always pulling different ways, really, you know. It's just, there's no kind of rhyme or reason to it, really. I'm kind of glad, really. I really would kind of be worried if say, we were listening to the same records as we were 7 or 8 years ago, you know. I'd be like, whoa.
very difficult sort of question, but I...
Oh, good.
No. Just,
like these ones.
sort of a look ahead on where would Radiohead go?
Oh, right. Oh, no.
That.
It's a difficult question.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of difficult because it's always assuming
At least
the
you're
band
not
is
asking me,
going somewhere.
are you depressed?
No.
Are you clinically depressed? I had that the other day.
Oh, no, really? Somebody asked you that?
Yeah, I thought I'd better answer yes, because that way it'd be more interesting to see what happens afterwards.
You make them up as you go.
Mm.
Because that's really what they wanted you to answer anyway.
Oh, well, yeah, so it's like, otherwise, you know, the poor chap would have been disappointed.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to
So you
disappoint
gave him a
him.
big, crazy story.
Exactly.
And then you read about it after and make
and everybody believes it. I mean, the tabloids in Britain can destroy anybody, you know, very successfully. You know, I mean, in the UK, we used to be very fond of hanging, and now you don't need to hang people. You just drag them through the tabloids. You know, admittedly they're not dead at the end of it, but they can't actually leave their house. They can't do anything. They're a public enemy. They get spat at in the street or whatever. It's like, well, you know, it's the same thing. It's that same British morbid fascination with watching somebody else suffer.
I'm not here.
Do you think that's typical to Britain? Do you think Americans are not as...
They're good at it, but we're really good at it. We absolutely adore watching people, you know, building people up and then tying them to the stake and setting light to it. You know, we love all that stuff. If they choose to go and find something, I mean, they can always find something on anybody, you know. So it's just a weird, it's a very terrifying element to British society, I think. So there you go.
Great.
And on that note.
And on that note, that's all the time we have.
Cool.
Thank you so much for talking to us. I wish we could go on and maybe end on more of a positive.
No, I think that was really positive, actually, myself. Yeah.
You think?
Oh, definitely.
C'est déjà tout pour nous. J'espère que vous avez apprécié notre émission. On se dit bye bye.